Hi and welcome to PolyOriginals with Fiona Abel-Smith. So for today's session we're going to do a very quick tutorial, and this one's going to be a quick polymer clay pendant. I've got 3 different colourways here. This is the one I'm going to do, and also just 3 little different ways of finishing them off. Because this is a very quick one, all the details you need to know, the equipment, the clay I'm using, the amounts, everything like that, is all in the details in the video description below. So without further ado, let's get started and have some fun. I've begun with all the colours and just small amounts of each one, and I've got 5 colours in each of my mixes, and they are there, and all I've done is I've conditioned them thoroughly and rolled them into small balls. If you're unsure about conditioning clay, why we do it or how we do it, then I've got a video tutorial with a few tips and techniques, and I'll put a link to that in the video description below. And as I mentioned at the start, all the details of these colours and the amounts will also be in the video description. For those of you used to polymer clay, you could, if you wanted to, do a skinner blend with those 5 colours and those 5 colours. But for today we're going to keep it nice and simple, and I'm just going to layer up these colours in the small amounts that I've shown here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten these little blocks, just pressing down on the sides to make them slightly oblong. Do the same with all 5. And then starting with the lightest, I'm just going to push the others on top. And what automatically happens is that the bottom one goes wider, which is great, because what we're going to do is we're going to make a point on the top of this and make this into a triangular piece. So all I'm doing is I'm pressing in the top, pinching it in, and then you can turn it on its side, and as you can see there, this bit's gone wider because I've pinched it. So all we're going to do is press at the bottom as well, so that that goes wider, turn over, and do the same on the other side. And you'll notice I'm keeping my fingers at the ends here to keep them straight and flat. You can also turn it up on the end of the tile and press down to keep them flat. And that's all we're looking for at this stage. Something that looks roughly triangular, with the light colour on the bottom, the dark colour on the top, and that's probably about 2 inches 5 centimetres long by now. So we will get our black clay, which we're going to use as our outline. Now I've put this through the thinnest setting of my pasta machine, or just roll it as thin as you can get it. I'm going to put it on top and cut a stripe that's the same width. Chop off one end so it's the same width as the piece we've got, and all we're going to do is we're going to sit it on the bottom and just wrap around the colours but not across the white. Chop off where it reaches the other end, put the rest of the black on one side, and once our piece is covered we're simply going to reduce this in length until it's about 5 inches or 12.5 centimetres. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate, press down on each side, so I'm pressing it in while sort of pulling it slightly longer. Once we've got it to about 3 inches or 7.5 centimetres in length, I'm going to stop pressing in and reducing one end and only concentrate on reducing the other, so we end up with a slightly tapered piece. So if you're used to having uneven pieces when you're reducing canes, this is perfect for you. This doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be even, and each of ours will turn out differently. Every time I've done this myself, it turns out differently, and that's fine. I'm just showing you the techniques. So don't worry about it, just relax. And what I'm looking to get is a piece that, say, that's about 5 inches or about 12.5 centimetres. I've gone slightly over here, which is fine because you will get a slight distortion at either end. And what we're going to do is we're going to chop down to get 5 pieces of an equal size. Those 2 bits can go on one side, and then we're just going to put these pieces together, matching the white at the bottom, and they automatically curl around. And that's what we're looking for our first piece. And we're now going to repeat and do exactly the same for those 5 colours, so we get 2 pieces that look like this. So there's our 2 curls. Hopefully yours are roughly the same height. And then we're going to just take these two contrasting colours and just roll them into logs the same height as our canes there. And they're going to wrap each of these in a layer of the black. At the moment we've got the large sides of both of these the same way up, so just turn one the other way up and set them slightly off centre to each other. Add one round on the bottom, one on the top, and then you just need to think which way you want to create your design in, because what we want is we want a triangular shape. So I'm going to choose this bit as the top, this bit as the bottom, and to do that all I'm going to do is I'm going to sit it flat on the tile and with my fingers pointed at the top, press down so that I force it into a triangular shape. I quite often just rock slowly backwards and forwards, and once I've got a point on this side, then I will turn it over and I'll look and see, which is why this design is quite handy. If there's a black line that would roughly go where the point would be, then I will force that into the point, because it makes it easier when we're reducing the triangle if you've got a nice straight line. The turn over, so I'll do the same with this one, force that in the triangular point, and now we have our roughly triangular cane. And all we're going to do is we're going to reduce this down till it gets to the right size and length to cut off slices, put them together and create our hexagons. Reducing is a technique you just need to get used to over time, and all we do is with our fingers we're pushing in whilst at the same time almost imperceptibly pulling longer. I normally push in at the bottom of my triangle, pull slightly at the top and rotate. Push in, pull at the top, rotate, and that way you end up getting a nice even cane all the way down its length. And I will continue to do that until this cane is just less than an inch across each of the three faces. There we go, I've got it to the size I want, just less than an inch, and I've done the same on all three sides. And as you saw, the last few pass-throughs where I've been going through, I've been working on the measuring sheet so that I've got it the right size. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop down through the middle, and we can see the pattern that we're starting to get. And then very quickly I'm going to put that back down and I'm going to cut myself 6 slices. Now I'll do this mostly off screen because I cut right over the top of mine, so you'd only see the top of my head, but I will do these about sort of 3 to 4 millimeters thick. Let me just cut you one so you can see. So I want it nice and thick because I'm just going to use this slice completely for the pendant that we're making today. So I'm not going to have any backing clay, so I want it nice and thick to create a nice sturdy pendant. So I'll cut 6 of those slices. Having got your slices, it's just a case of deciding which way round you want to put them together. So to start with, we'll put them so that the purple mixes in the middle. It's quite useful having the black lines there because it gives you something visually to match up when you're placing your slices together. And having put your slices together with the end of the cable needle, not the point, just slightly inside the point, I'm just going to roll across from outside edge to middle just to make sure all those joins are nicely touching each other and joined together, and then roll over with a nice clean roller. With my masked blade or something similar, I'm just going to push on the edges to make sure it's all nice and neat. and spend a bit of time rolling and neatening up till you have a nice clean hexagon shape. You can then remove this and place it on whatever you want to bake on. I'm just using this semi-sphere, which gives a nice slightly domed finish. Then I will bake that flat on a tile encased in aluminium foil, but not so that it touches the clay, and bake according to the manufacturer's instructions for the brand of clay you are using. And I use the aluminium foil just in case the oven temperature spikes during the baking process. Another way we'd get that pattern, and if we put them together another way, we'd get that pattern. And one of the reasons I like these domes is that I can bake multiple pieces on the same one. And I'll bring you back when we've got those baked, and then we'll finish our pieces. Once the baking process has finished and your pieces are cooled, you can use a small drill piece, add a hole in one part, and then either add a bail or just a simple jump ring, whichever you want to do, and then obviously the cord will thread through that. If you want a hidden piece on the back, then what I would normally do is to cut another slice of cane and then put it up towards the back. Decide first which way you want the piece to face up. I'm just going to press very gently down at the top so the clay adheres at the top. Get something like a cocktail stick, pop that underneath, pull the clay back over the top, and then with your needle pull the clay down onto the baked clay to create a channel that a cord or a chain can fit into after it's baked. And then you simply cut off the excess. Neaten the piece up, gently twist the cocktail stick to remove it, and this time I'll sit it on the inside of my semi-sphere so that it bakes like that, and again bake according to the manufacturer's instructions for the brand of clay you are using. And there's the finished piece, and all I've done is I've just strung a little silver chain through it. And that's an alternate colour version. As I said, each time I do it, it comes out slightly differently, and that's absolutely fine. The whole fun of playing with polymer clay and making these canes is just to see how the pattern comes out. So on that one, as before, I've done the jump ring. This one I've done the bail, and on that one I've actually done it along a flat side. So again, you can just add your piece in, so you can put it up that way if you would rather with your hexagons. So that's the end of this session. As I say, a quick polymer clay pendant showing you how to do a very quick and easy cane, even without using a pasta machine. I hope you enjoyed that one. Just a bit of fun and something to sort of have a practice with, particularly when you're doing your cane work. Obviously, if you want the more in-depth ones, I do have a lot of longer step-by-step tutorials, but this was just a quick and easy little one just to get you going. As always, thanks so much for watching, and a special thank you to those of you who subscribe. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have lots of fun with this one, and I look forward to seeing you next time. That's it for now. Bye.